anyway, I did go to a school board meeting, which was my first time ever at a school board meeting, even though I've met many of the people that are on the school board.
Okay.
This was on April 23rd,
Mhm.
and there was a lot going on that day. I think I don't want to say something that I'm not absolutely sure about because I didn't get an agenda. I arrived there at 5 o'clock. At 8:30, they were still going strong, and I couldn't take it any longer. They were responding, I believe, to some issues surrounding ICE, and they were making, ICE, they were making some changes to some documents that they had. So, and there was a lot of them, and they kept going through them. Plus, there were a lot of presentations from students, awards, and things like that. But it was interesting to go. The TV stations were there at the time because I think there were some people picketing some of the students or something. But I didn't get a total picture of what was happening. I didn't hear anything that was following up, but I wanted to go and see what a meeting is like because if we're going to dig into the issue of zoning, it's going to go through the school board. So I thought it'd be a good idea to attend a meeting and see how they operate. And I don't know if those of you that are new realize that there's a zoning issue for the schools because some schools are in Westlake but not in our zone. And I hear different stories about how that evolved from some of the people that were here when there was nothing. So they were making decisions about that really based on not a lot of what it was going to look like here. So what we want to do is we're going to work on the zoning issue, and that refers to item B under unfinished business. At the council meeting, I presented a zoning letter that we drafted together at our last meeting, and I think the council was very receptive about doing something about this, but there were some questions about who signs the letter. And I don't know if all the council members had time to really think about it. I think they kind of knew that it was an issue. I think they were maybe surprised that we were moving right along and talking about this and wanting to move forward with it. So I'm going to bring it up again at the next council meeting, and then we have to decide where it should go, and I'll have to talk with the board about that. I was thinking about having a meeting with Masha Andrews, who's kind of on top of all that, to give me a little background information. She's a representative from the school board. This is her district, and she knows all about it. There are certain people whose names we have heard about in the past, but there's some need to talk to those individuals also. So I've got to look up those names again. And maybe, I think it was Masha Andrews that talked about it at one of our meetings that she came to, but Zoe and I checked the notes and we couldn't really find anything about it. But I know it's something that's near and dear to the hearts of the people who have students in the schools, and they laboring around the rosy to get to them easily.
Well, if I can ask a question. First of all, how do we get a copy of the school board's minutes and agenda? That would be one question for to look at. How can we get our representative, our council, to put this issue that we have on their agenda for discussion, so that when they have their school board meeting, then we can be present to discuss issues, would be number two. And then number three, what is the flow of that paper that you done so eloquently, the school zoning letter? How do we get that into the pipeline so others on the school board can read it, so that they can prepare for what we're going to say at the next school board meeting?
Yeah, exactly. And those are the steps that we need to address. There's some questions about as I mentioned, who the letter should come from, when it goes in front of the board,
Right.
and that we should be, following up on that. Unfortunately, we can't all go and be present because we
Sure.
can't be together because of the sunshine laws, but we should be able to know about when that meeting is
Right,
and hear about the response.
right. Maybe to speak to that. It should be put on the
if it-
agenda. How do
yeah.
we get stuff on their agendas? Which is our concerns.
Right. Any other questions on that? Anybody else been to a school board meeting
I've been to one before.
here in,
Oh, no.
in this county?
No,
No, I
no,
have too.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm sure you've been to
Yes,
many.
many. I've been virtually.
Yeah, yeah. It was quite a big turnout that night. I was surprised about that.
It's probably gonna be bigger than next one. As far as with ice and all of these issues
I
going
know.
on, it's gonna get,
I know.
they're gonna get pretty rowdy, I would think, at the next one.
It wasn't really rowdy when I got there. There were just, people present, but fortunately everything was pretty calm and they were just showing their opinions, I guess. This next item is, and if you see me moving along a little fast here, I was informed that the lights aren't working in here, so as it gets on in the meeting, it's gonna start to get dark. They don't pay their electric bills. No, it's always said it had something to do with the lights up above.
There's one light right
No, pretty soon it's gonna start to go the other way now, isn't it, June 21st
After
or
the
something
sunset.
like that? Yeah.
there. What the solstice, whichever one's there.
Okay, C is the update on the Roger Dean Stadium Westlake night. I mentioned that briefly at the last meeting, that the general manager of Roger Dean Stadium saw my name on the Westlake Wanderer and about the fact that we were looking to raise funds for students and maybe teachers in the school system. So he reached out to me and to the mayor to say, how about a special night at the stadium for Westlake schools?
Oh.
And that we would get some percentage of the take. What exactly that is, I don't know, because I haven't done this before. I've been to the stadium,
You talking about a stadium all the way in
Jupiter.
Yeah, Jupiter.
Jupiter, yeah.
I have to do something way over there, but over here.
Well, and he lives here too.
Wow.
Yeah, Chad lives here. I forget his last name. I can look it up.
Right.
But he kept emailing the mayor to see what was going on. So I decided I was going to write the mayor and ask him that I know he's really busy. Can I just follow up to get some more information? And he said that he thought that might be all right. But I think what we have to do is get the okay from the council before I even go out there. But there was some thoughts that might be okay if I just go out to get information. I'm not taking any action on anything. It's just like a mission finding. Have any of you been to any events like that there?
No.
No, because they do it often with other schools,
We've
other
been there
districts.
for different events, but not a school event.
Yeah,
But we've been there for different events.
Yeah.
They bring a lot of folks. So if they're talking about a fundraiser, what I'm trying to understand how they can work is how do you raise money from a community that's not our community? You know what I'm saying? We're
Right.
in another community and we're having a fundraiser there. And if our folks don't come, how is he talking about earning money?
well, we gotta raise the awareness of the event.
Right.
We'll rely on Alicia and are you familiar with the Westlake Wanderer?
No.
Oh, we have to get you in there, right?
Oh,
I
yes.
don't know.
Yes. She writes everything, she writes about everything that's happening in Westlake.
Yeah, she's been
Everything.
great to us in terms of getting the word out. She's right behind you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Anita, so this is something that happens in Jupiter at their stadium,
Yes.
but they would raise money for Westlake.
So it's like, the idea, I imagine, if it's similar to like when you have it at a restaurant, is you would, if you like bring a flyer or something saying like, I'm here because of the Westlake event, a certain percentage of the proceeds from the tickets
Okay.
would then go back to
But what's
Westlake.
happening in the field?
It's a game. It's
It's
a
a
minor
baseball
league
game.
baseball
They're
game.
minor
Oh, it's a
leagues.
minor league baseball.
Yeah.
I think it's the St. Louis Cardinals
Yeah.
minor league
Yes,
is, yeah.
Oh, I've been to that stadium, yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
like
there's
different
another
games,
one
Yeah.
in West Palm, or I don't know what team it is there.
The Nats, the Washington National, there's a cacti park or something.
Okay.
And they have a school chorus that would sing the national anthem. Or the kids get involved somehow, some way.
Maybe, yeah. Really?
Yeah.
They
I've seen
sang it
kids
while
with-
you were there?
I remember had kids have t-shirts on and from different schools or whatever. Maybe it was one
Well,
school.
this is what I'll find out.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah, yeah.
What's involved and what are the expectations are. My understanding, from just talking to people in general is that we get like a deal on a ticket and a hot dog and a drink or
Mhm,
something
mhm.
like that. And then the proceeds, we would get a percentage. I don't know.
Based on how many tickets come from Westlake?
Yes.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, so they
Now I
would
get
transfer
that.
Yeah.
And then like even if you have friends who don't live in Westlake, like I actually have a lot of friends that live in Abacoa. If it's like a flyer or something, I tell them like, hey, we're going. As long as you like let them know you're there specifically to support like the Westlake schools,
Mhm.
then that should count. So it doesn't.
Really? Does it?
Yeah, it's more just about like getting. Usually, it's
Yeah.
about just like us spreading the word
Right, that's a big
so that
part of it.
when they go in or when they buy their tickets, they say like, "Oh, I'm with Westlake." Even if they don't live in Westlake, they're not going to check for that, and that doesn't usually matter. It's just saying like, "Oh, I heard about this because of Westlake,"
Mhm.
and you get, usually like 10%. I don't know what the details are. but
When are these
usually
games? In the summer?
Well, no, I would think when I'm talking to him that I would suggest that we do something like in October when it cools a little bit.
And we have to
Even
be able to
if-
approach the
What
schools
the- Yes. we
to
have
get
to-
the word out to the schools.
Exactly. So we have time, school would be setting, it would be a little bit before Halloween, but not running into Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
But I'm open to hearing what you think would be a good time.
I think in the fall,
Yeah.
when school's open and kids are back in.
And they're back in it.
Yeah.
That's why I thought,
Mhm, mhm.
early, mid-October
Yeah.
might be a good time, but I don't know how all this
I would-
works, so.
I would, if it's too fast, I would look at, back to school, right before school opens, there's always a rush of people trying to do things and buy packets and we can tie it into buying school supplies. That would be one, and then I would think at maybe fall break, do something around that
What's
time
what-
period.
Oh, Thanksgiving break?
Fall break, whenever.
Yeah,
fall
but I
break
think
is.
people make plans to go away and.
Well,
and
I'm
do things.
saying use that theme. It doesn't have to be right before fall break, but maybe a week or two before it comes. And just use that theme of fall breaks coming.
When is fall break? I don't even know.
Probably
Is there a fall break?
Well, they have a few days
They
after
do.
they
Thanksgiving.
have a
do.
few
Yeah.
They do. They have a fall break and a spring break. The school has that.
Well, Thanksgiving break, I don't know, sometimes.
Yeah,
they take a week off.
Thanksgiving, I think.
I think they get a they get time of Thanksgiving.
I think
Not
it's
just like
Thanksgiving.
Thursday, Friday. They get
Yeah,
it's around
yeah,
that
they
time
do.
usually.
But what we have to really be cognizant of is timing. Because in order to get anything done, we have to, council has to approve it, has to come back to us and back and forth. So we have to plan it appropriately.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't written in stone. It was just
That's a
my
great idea.
idea to, for a time frame.
And if the
but
kids can go and what game cheaper,
Yes,
then, hey, I think it's great.
yeah. And he came to us, so we must be doing something right, folks,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
Thank you,
Right.
Alicia.
Oh, that's cool.
You got it.
Yeah.
It looks like the last game is September 7th,
Is it?
just from a quick Google.
Yeah,
I was gonna say we need to figure out what the schedule is
yeah.
because I know the other teams like come down like for the off season.
And also, I think we need to,
Yeah.
get approval to approach the schools that are not under the Westlake umbrella. If some of those kids go to those schools, we can still get them to go to the game.
Yeah, it needs a good marketing campaign
Yeah.
to get the word out about it, yeah. Anything else another thing that I'm thinking of is how do we decide which school gets the money and for what?
Well, then again, it's the schools that are under the umbrella of Westlake,
Yes,
to Golden Grove,
yes,
Osceola, and
yes.
the high school.
Right.
That's it.
And I was thinking one thing might be, I don't know how much advertising they want to do, but we've been talking about, or at least Barron was talking to us about the fact that they need $10,000 to redo the signage for the football field. But then I noticed when you go by, I forget, there's the name of some auto dealer that's
Alpaca.
up there. I'm wondering how did Alpaca get here, but I guess it's whoever gave the most money to do it. Now, I don't know how long that contract is, or if there is a contract, but I think, that would be helpful if Lisa could follow up, or if she can't, I would be happy to go and see. I don't know. I have no idea of what the cost might be, but she seemed to think that he thought that's what the amount was, so that's,
10,000?
yeah. So I'm wondering if that's something worthwhile.
To find a sponsor.
I don't know. What do you think? I mean, there are other needs of the schools. We know that. We know that all those after-school activities
Mhm.
aren't being paid by some students who can't afford it.
Mm.
And we talked about raising money for that. I know the money that we raised for Golden Grove was for their recess games. They needed to refurbish some of those things.
Mhm.
But I don't know if you want to think about that, and I know
Yeah, see
these
what
are
they
what
need.
the forward kinds of things that we
Well-
need to think. How do we decide what school gets what?
Well, one you could do is some sort of lottery or something like that, together where, kids can write or do something and we choose somebody, make it fun for the kids and make it educational
Mhm.
where they can make a decision on that. But I would think if you're doing activity to raise money for any particular school, that you need to include the school, the books,
Absolutely.
some type of car wash or something like that for the kids to set up at the school, and signs and stuff. Those are the easiest things to set up. at
Oh, you
schools.
mean in addition to?
Yeah, in
this?
addition,
Okay,
just
yeah.
to raise funds. And
Right.
if you have schools that have, I don't know if you have a high school, but if they have any type of ROTC program, they always are looking to do volunteer work like that because they got to get credit.
Mhm.
The kids have to get credit for volunteer work, and they look to do it. You can even go to Seminole, and they can partner with another school to come in and do something, the ROTC department, but they need the points and stuff like that to get awards and ribbons and all of that, I know. So they
Right.
look for opportunities to do things for other people.
Yeah.
All you have to do is tell them and contact that ROTC instructor and say, hey, we need you to do such and such, and they'll do it. Trust me.
I mean, I wonder too if this is kind of like kicking the ball in someone else's court, but if the schools put down a list of the things they would use the money for, and then
That would be
whoever
great.
person is coordinating the event at Rogers Dean, they could even choose, or I don't know the population of the schools, like you said before, it'd be a lottery where it's you can sell raffle, not like a raffle ticket, but not to sell, but anybody who comes in, they write the name of their school, drop it in, and you pick a few, or depending on how much money gets raised, we could also just say a certain percentage can just be spread.
We have, this is a little bit of an aside, we can get into it a little later on the history, but we have assigned members of this board, well, not assigned, they actually chose the restaurants to go to because we want to do some fundraising with the restaurants, and we
Mhm.
developed a flyer, and that, I think, is almost done being approved. So we're talking about probably rolling something out like that in the fall, sometime, late in the fall. So we may want to look at who's got what areas and reassign. It looks like most people have 2 restaurants
Mhm.
assigned to them.
Yep.
I have Marco's Pizza because I like pizza. No. Lisa Barron had Taco Bell and Gator Shack. Colleen had Chipotle and Habit Burger, and Bristol Letsma had 3 Natives and Starbucks. So I guess he who hesitates is lost. I don't know if there's another restaurant that's come on board recently. Nobody has KFC now that I look at it.
AFC, right?
They're Chick-fil-A.
Oh,
They're not here yet, but we hope they're coming.
Go ahead and put me down for Chick-fil-A when they get it.
No, you gotta get some soda. We're waiting.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. You said 3 natives is on there?
I think,
3 natives is on there.
yeah, 3 natives is, Crystal, Lexima, 3 natives in Starbucks. And you have Chipotle and Habit Burger. And Lisa Barron has Taco Bell and Gator Shack, and I have Marco's Pizza, but KFC should be on
They
there
should
somewhere.
be.
What about El Pomodoro?
El
Hard
Pomodoro.
no.
Huh?
I thought KFC was a hard no. Someone said. I don't know if you were
They
saying
didn't want to
that.
go there?
KFC didn't want to do any kind of.
I don't think
Fundraising or
anybody's talked to them yet.
But how is the fundraising set up? I mean,
We have a letter
okay.
that
go ahead.
introduces us and what
Okay.
we're doing.
Okay.
We're hoping to get some kind of a card or pin that's sort of an identification thing when we go in there.
And then what do they do? That's what I'm saying.
10%, we ask for 10% of the profits of a particular night that
Yeah,
we,
yeah.
that we work with.
Well, I mean, what do we provide a service or we just?
We get people in the door. We, like, that's
That's
the
what
point of
bring
it. It's
people
like,
in.
you know, on a, like, usually they'll pick like a night that's slow for them. So let's say a Wednesday night is slow for Taco Bell. And we say like it's Westlake night. So you get, the idea is like we get people in the community to go. And so they get money because there's more people and they're slow.
Oh, so we let the people.
And then
let
we
people
get
know
10%
we try to-
of the total.
Oh,
funds,
yeah.
We might
Yeah,
have
just some
signs outside
marketing,
saying,
yeah.
hey, come,
Yeah.
okay, it's Westlake night.
Exactly.
Maybe have some signs like car wash or like that. Somebody out there shaking the sign.
This is, yeah, for
Getting
the
people to
restaurant.
come to
yeah.
the restaurant.
Yeah.
And we'll
Okay.
have notices printed for the schools.
Okay, oh, that's
Yeah.
great. Oh, okay, now, okay, I get it.
So if like the Westlake schools don't only serve Westlake students, like they also serve like Loxahatchee. Can we go out to other restaurants?
Not
Loxahatchee,
not in Loxahatchee, no.
okay. Okay.
Can they
Even
come
though,
to the
just to bring you up to date. I
Go
say
ahead.
this all the time.
So I'm like,
But
you know, everybody goes to Jabrewski's, you
But
know.
Loxahatchee Groves Elementary School has many Westlake residents. The kids go there, but they're not under the umbrella of Westlake. So that school is not part of this education advisory group. So
Okay.
we can't do anything to help.
No, not the school. I'm saying restaurants in Loxahatchee. So
Oh, no, we have to do the restaurants.
We
somewhere.
have to
Okay.
only do them here.
Okay.
I thought you
Yeah.
meant the schools, okay.
But I think, you know, would somebody take KFC? Yeah.
Tell me what to do. That's fine.
Okay, we'll work with
I'll
them.
go there.
All right.
But, oh, El Pomodoro used it.
But I was wondering, has anybody reached out to El Pomodoro?
No, we haven't done it yet.
Well,
Okay.
once you take that one, I'll take it.
Okay.
You want KFC? Do you
do
want
it.
a lobby for it?
No, I'm happy with El Pomodoro.
Yeah, that's what she wants. I want her where she feels comfortable with.
Oh, you're right. We don't
No,
have
wait,
Pomodoro.
And no one has to boost.
Well, Jabrewski's is Loxahatchee.
That's in Loxahatchee.
What about espresso? I know it's not like a restaurant,
Oh.
but a bunch of people go there.
Where
At the
is
gas station,
That's
espresso,
coffee.
Oh, you're talking about the
and
gas
sandwiches.
station.
the little
Yeah.
restaurant in there.
That
great
place is
coffee
hot.
and
There's long lines out there.
I'm just saying, if you really try it.
I've had it a couple of times.
I
They're
have too.
very nice.
Does that
Yeah.
mean you take it?
You have to go in the gas station that's near where they're building the Aldi in that plaza.
Right in front of Gator Shop.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
Right,
it
so that, no, so you're saying that gas station, inside the gas
Yeah,
station.
it's a
Yeah,
restaurant.
they
Yeah,
really good basics.
very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
good
can check
coffee.
it out.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know why we didn't have Pomodoro on there. You want to do Pomodoro?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Crystal too, KFC. Well, we can't do anything until we get the forms.
Yeah. Any other place that we can go?
I'm trying to think what else is behind over by Starbucks.
I don't know. You know, and the
Natives, KFC.
here's Greg sending me a look. All right, I can.
Have it.
Someone has
I was gonna ask. Because Greg just sent me a note. Yeah, we can't do gas stations really. We don't allow that.
I mean,
We can
for
do the
rest-
restaurant in the gas. station.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The restaurant is in there. I don't know.
Yeah. There
There's
is,
also a
there is another,
restaurant
there's
in-
another coffee shop coming called
L.
Canal.
And I know they have alcohol, something like that, right?
Do you know the name?
Yeah, Elle
Elle.
and Carmela.
Mm-hmm.
and chicken salad chick.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
chicken salad chick, yeah.
I've heard rumors that Kava is coming.
Kava? Oh, I have not heard any. Okay. That would be
Kava,
awesome.
Someone wrote that under your post, and
Oh.
Kava's like, I email them every few months, so they should come.
Good work.
It is my favorite.
What's it called, Kava?
Yeah, but the thing is, these
like
places aren't
Chipotle,
built
like
yet, you
Mediterranean
know, so
place.
it's not too much we can do
Yeah.
right now. Maybe they will be by the fall.
Mm-hmm.
But KFC is built, Pomodoro is built, so. All right, anything else on?
Oh,
that
the
was a
Chinese
little
restaurant.
digression.
Yeah.
All those
Oh,
Chinese
Sky.
restaurants.
It's a Chinese restaurant.
That's
and
right.
Yeah,
now-
Pomodoro.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
not
that's
much to have you
outside
too
of
far.
Westlake.
Yeah.
We can't do that one, yeah, we can't do Lewis Grill either.
Mhm.
Roger
But we're
Bruce.
into
That's such a
Chinese
Chinese
Sky, is it Chinese Sky?
Yeah.
Yeah, is
I
that
don't know.
Chinese guy?
I think it's two of them,
Yeah.
one by whiskey.
I know,
I don't know
yeah.
which one's which.
Can you take the Chinese one too?
Yeah.
Sounds like you like the Chinese, so it'll be easy to get.
It's right next to the
Yeah,
Pomodoro.
baby.
I was gonna say there's a
You wanna
restaurant
check the
in South
name,
Bend.
bars?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, cause I go to the other one sometimes too.
Yeah, I'm liking it, so.
Okay, anything else on unfinished business? Any other questions for those of you that are new about what else we can do to keep you up, sort of updated? Sounds like you've read the minutes and such, so you find that helpful.
Yeah.
And if you ever have questions, unfortunately, you can't call me or anybody else. This is a new
We
process for me.
can't talk.
We can't talk to each other. Sunshine laws, but you can send a note to
For that.
Odette or Zoe. Yes.
You can't talk. How you can work?
Here.
Every couple of
That's why these poor women here are, yeah, keeping track of everything. It's the sunshine laws.
We can't.
Welcome to Florida.
Massachusetts, we could do two. But we
Yeah,
couldn't
we
do
can
three.
do, yeah.
But here you can't do, can't even have two. It's an even.
It's hard.
I do have a question. How many of us can go to a board meeting if we all can't go?
You
only
can
one of us-
go to a board meeting, but we can't talk to each other.
You mean city council?
City council,
No, I mean like the
Oh.
education, like
anybody,
the school board meeting.
anybody.
So we all can go, but we just can't like be together.
Commiserate.
Okay.
And it doesn't, you can go at different times. That'd be a good way to get coverage on one and another, maybe. But we should get the listing of all the meetings. I can look for that for the next meeting. That's the
Do they
one
have it in the
that,
summer?
Hmm?
Do they have it in the summer?
it's a good question.
They probably do, but maybe not as well.
Get school board statement. Yeah, Marsha Andrews had sent us one, but it's outdated already. Okay, so here we are now at new business. And here's an opportunity for us to get to know a little bit more about our new members. So if you want to take a few minutes to talk about yourself and your background and what brought you to apply to work with us, and that'll be interesting.
So I taught middle school. I taught fifth grade and sixth grade. I taught, I think, for 8 years. Social studies, only social studies. Occasionally I had to sub for math, and that was fine. That was not my jam at all. And I think what interests me the most about this is just like, so I still work in education, I write curriculum, but I don't work for a district or anything like that. And like I miss the kids. And so while this isn't working with kids, like it's just like helping the schools, and I kind of miss that. So just an opportunity to help the schools. And I'm also
This is self-employment?
no.
No.
I work for a company. We don't, Palm Beach County doesn't like use our curriculum or anything like that. So we're fine. Like there's no conflict there. I checked, triple checked.
Okay.
And also like there's a new elementary school coming, and I'm like really interested in that. I like, not that the school board cares about my ideas, but I have a lot of ideas and questions. like I work at an IB school, and I know IB is really big in Florida, but I think there aren't that many IB schools around in Palm Beach County.
What does
so
IB stand for again?
International Baccalaureate.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Uh,
There aren't many? No?
no, there aren't that many. I think
Huh.
definitely not anywhere near us. There's just a few. So yeah, just trying to help the schools.
And what prompted you to join the committee?
Just trying to figure out ways to help the schools that are Westlake schools.
And you have your children in the schools?
Well, my son's 3. He's gonna be 3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so soon. Very
Okay, yeah.
soon.
Thank you. And, let's see, we have next Dr. Tompkins.
Okay,
I'm also a Dr. Kaplan. We probably have degrees in similar areas, higher education, research and administration.
educational policy.
Yeah, EPRA, yeah. I think the
I
degrees are
was-
similar at the universities, yeah.
Very much interested in educational policies that we have, how we get to making those policies and what we can do to change them and where do they get all their information, research to make these rules and regulations in our community. So that's from the top side up. But my interest is how do I affect kids who what we're doing here now new in Westlake and in this community to educate our kids. I mean, what can the community do to help parents manage their kids? I see a lot of kids doing a lot of things that spill over onto the streets. So my way is, well, what can we do to stop this spillage? What is not happening in our schools that we might be able to talk to the school board about doing that would help the parents out and the kids in the community? If that makes any sense. So you look at some of the things that they do, whether, driving fast cars, I don't know, just doing all kinds of mischief stuff. But how can we stop that? How can we make effective activities and more basketball courts, more of this, more of that to keep them involved? So what do we do as members of this to build that type of structure in our community that kids are in structured programs and those kind of things that are connected to the school?
We, just so that you know, I'm sorry.
No, that-
We did a one meeting, quick strategic planning
Right.
session. And the committee kind of put input and we tried to narrow it down and did narrow it down to the 3 areas. So help me. Number one, I remember is funding. There was a lot of funding needs for the schools that weren't. Volunteers,
Volunteer work.
yeah, people that, and you've done some volunteer work with the
Mhm.
school. through
And I continue to
Westlake.
do that because we belong to the Women's Club, Pressman, and the schools contact me. And it's so easy to get Pressman and the Women's Club together to get things done for the schools. But to get done to the council, it's a matter of meeting, approvals and back
I
and forth.
see.
So big things we do for the council, but small things, volunteering within the schools, we do that a lot.
Yeah.
And I can contact you
And
too.
what was the third item?
Oh, I
I
just
can't
wanna-
get off the top of my head.
So I'm the school liaison from, the Delta School Committee.
I see those two, funding and volunteer, I'd be really interested in number 3. But those are the type of programs that I'm talking about that we need to start putting some energy behind. Not to say we're not, but that's why I wanted to be a part of, because I want to see how I can volunteer in a good way where it comes back to the
You know
school,
what would be good?
you know.
I don't know to what degree, any of you have gone to a PTA meeting. And that might be a good way to see what they're talking about and what they're working on. So we have each individuals assigned to a school. Lisa Barron is the Seminole Pratt Whitney liaison to the Educational Advisory Board. And Crystal Lexima is Golden Grove, I think.
It's only 3 schools.
Yeah, and in Osceola Creek
I
is,
think I took that because
okay, we lost a
We
committee
lost.
member,
Mhm.
yeah. But if there was there'd be nothing from stopping you to go to sit in on a school committee meeting, even if it wasn't one of the schools assigned to you. So maybe rather than, stretching the assignments, maybe we would ask if you could each go to a school board meeting and report back to us what you hear there and what they're talking about. That might be a good idea. Okay, well, thank you both for that kind of insight. We're happy that you're joining us and look forward to working with you. Nice to have some new blood. Okay, now I have on item C, we've talked a little bit about a trade show in the maybe that was 3. Was that number 3 where it was alternatives to traditional? Yeah, it was alternatives to traditional modes of K through 12 and the trade schools. And what many of us were hearing and what we were talking about is that the options in the trade schools are very viable, but I think there's limited knowledge across Westlake in general and maybe among parents and even students about what it means to go into a trade and take a trade program rather than maybe a traditional high school program.
in college, or trade, or high school trade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
high school trade
Yeah.
programs.
But I think we have to know what they're saying in the schools about trade programs, just what you were saying.
Yes, exactly.
Who's going into the school talking about how you get, fire department, those kind of things, but you got to take emergency classes and all those kind of things and, get your certificates in different areas and stuff. So who's going in talking about trade schools? And is the trade school that's here locally, are they linked with these local high schools and who they represented if they go? Because I know when I was in high school, we had a trade school right across the street, St. Pete, and kids went over there and learned different trades and those kind of things while they was in high school. Because then there's a thought process of you get into trade school, you're into making money instantly versus some kids going to college and wasting their time with college when it doesn't do anything for them. So you've wasted like 5, 6, 7 years of your life. Your parents have been poor for 5, 6, 7 years of life. And then when you graduate, you come right back home and you still unemployed and you end up going to get a job at 7-Eleven anyway. Well, you could have just cut out the middleman and went to 7-Eleven straight out of high school. But what I tell them though, they could be an electrician, could be a plumber, all that kind of stuff. And then for some kids, you need to mature a little bit later anyway to ready to go to college because they don't understand. So some kids need to work for 1 or 2 years, or there's a military experience that you need to do.
Do we have a trade high school?
Yes, there's a lot of trade programs in the high school. They built a
So we a
house
trade
with-
high school.
There is one,
Where's that?
and it's out towards Belglade, and I think that's an option for
Okay.
anybody that wants to go there. But I think it's a commuting problem.
So should they go to Osceola, I wonder, and present to the 8th graders the
Mhm.
programs before?
Yeah, I was thinking if we could have some kind of an evening, a venue where,
Trade school.
for parents to know more about it. I think it's kind of a dual action program. The students need to know more and the parents need to know.
When you do that, wouldn't that be something good to bring into the PTA meetings?
I think that's more
100%.
guidance counselors.
Yeah, they could present it there though, and you present it to the parents there. That's where you bring in
Yeah.
a representative and explain to the parents that's sitting at the PTA that we have these programs.
Right.
That'd be the perfect time.
Right. Yeah.
Is it in Job Corps? Like that trade high school?
Do they have job corps? What's job?
They probably do, but I think that's a separate than what we're talking about.
Well, I know, well, what I'm trying to figure out is how that school, that trade school runs. Is it through something like Job Corps, or is it through?
No,
Palm Beach
it's
County?
it's through Palm Beach
Okay,
County. It's with
okay.
the school district.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
I know a little bit about it because there was some jostling between what we were, I worked at Palm Beach State College for 10 years. There was jostling between all the programs that we offer, the trade programs, and what that school was going to offer and how we were going to work through a pathway for them, perhaps, to start in a trade school and maybe finish in a post-secondary environment.
Do they offer busing to get there?
I don't know, that's a good question. I don't know that answer. We can find that answer out.
Yeah.
What age are you talking about?
Well, if you're talking about like ninth graders, like,
Yeah.
Or
like if you're talking about high
Well,
school,
well,
like,
Eighth graders, so
Yeah,
then
going-
you start to talk about it.
So are we talking about going to the trade school in lieu of going to high school?
it is a high school, trade school high
It
school.
is a full high school.
It is.
Okay.
But there are also trade programs here in Seminole Ridge.
Right. I don't understand. I don't understand how that would work if you had a trade high school right now. I mean, you got regular, because I mean, don't you have to have English classes, math?
They switch
all
up.
They do, they do both. Yeah,
Okay.
they do both.
Okay.
They make sure you have the requirements, yeah.
Okay.
But instead of some of electives, I
Mhm.
would think, then you take certain courses in electrical or welding
Right.
or construction or, I don't know, all the
Or maybe like
areas.
TV production or media or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that.
Right. Well, maybe that's the last stop on the bus ride or something. I don't know. Kids to stay on, and then after they finish all their drops, that's the last stop on the trade school. And it's the first stop coming back and pick the kids back up. You know,
Yes, I know.
the same bus route, and the kids get on, and hey, I'm going to the trade school. We're like, okay, sit in the back. We get there in about 2
But I
hours.
don't know, that means they have to wait till all the kids get off
Well,
here.
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah,
just joking.
I don't know.
Something
That's a good question,
but
Right.
Seminole Ridge has trade programs
yes,
in there.
yes.
Okay.
Because I think that, I'm just like thinking from like a parent perspective, getting all the way out, like depending on how far it is, because I don't know. Getting
It's out
close to
there.
Belkley, like
It's
that,
out there, yeah.
that's gonna be a big lift for parents, especially
Yeah.
considering they have to like go to work after.
Let's see if I can find the answer. Is this legal? Can I ask Siri?
Well, I mean, if it's too long, you can't do
What
it.
is the
Well, no,
name of the
that's what I'm
trade
saying, though,
school
if-
that is
but
in
if there-
Belgrade?
If there are programs
Wow.
at Seminole Ridge,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
then it's like showcasing that.
Oh, West Technical Education Center.
Well, you gotta,
It's called
you gotta
West
bring the
Technical
programs here.
Education.
That's the thing.
School, is that high school?
You have to bring the programs here.
I
If
think
it's
so.
there, then they have to bring the programs here.
Well, they're saying there are
Let's
programs.
see,
You're not
here it
close to
is.
the high
It's
school,
about
I know
us.
exactly what
It's
you're
Right,
saying.
right. But what I'm saying is, if there's something over
West
there that's
Technical
not in high school,
Education
they have to
Center.
bring those programs here and offer it in our high school.
Yeah.
I don't know, it says about us, I go to click on it and it doesn't say anything. Go visit the website, no, that doesn't work either. Oh,
I believe Inland Grove is also
but it is with the school district of Palm Beach County. I would think if the students can come from different schools, there should be some kind of a way to get them if they want to go there. But, you know, maybe that's something that we talk about after the new year. But I think, you know, we need to kind of look around, get more information about what the high school has. If any of the lower grades do any kind of discussion about alternatives, I mean, for many years it was looked down upon,
Oh, yes.
you know, and
Yeah,
it was like you were made to feel like almost you were a second-class citizen. I think now there's a lot of first-class citizens coming
Mhm.
out of these programs
Absolutely.
and making good money, not only working for others, but starting their own business. And I would hope there's some discussion about entrepreneurship and such in
And I
those
mean-
kind of venues.
Pratt and Whitney is right there.
Exactly,
Like, all
yeah.
those trades, like.
Exactly. Let's see. Greg is sending me notes. All right, let me read our discussion about can we go outside of our area? He says, Greg Langowski is a council member that's the liaison to this committee. So he comes here and usually, but he's listening in today, but we can't talk to him. It doesn't work that way. It's one way.
Okay.
He said Lewis Prime might do a night for us. His daughter lives in Westlake. Restaurants
he's
outside of Westlake could help us if they so wish.
Oh, okay.
They could do it as supporting area schools. They would have to propose it as a night to help those schools. Yeah.
Yeah.
Restaurants out of it could help us if they could do it as supporting area schools. I don't know. I'll have to look into that a little bit more, talk with him about it.
I think it's similar to like with Roger Dean. Like we're not a Jupiter school, but they would be supporting our school.
But, yeah. D is a topic that I remember hearing something about, but not exactly who it was that told me something about it. Remember, Zoe, we talked about it a little bit. Did you happen to hear anything more about the representative to the planning committee for the new elementary school that's being built? No. All right. Because I have a note in my notes that was from a while back, and I was just going through them as I was preparing these notes to be out of the agenda, that that the planning committee for the new elementary school is looking for a representative. And maybe it was just a generic request for a representative, but I got the impression that it was a representative from the Educational Advisory Board, which would kind of make sense. Nobody knows, do you know anything about that one?
I just remember you guys talking about appointing one person to be in contact, you know, and kind of on top of things as far as the new Westlake school
Yeah.
goes. So it seems like if you guys have more than 3 members, you know, you assign one person to each school,
We do.
and then to this 4th school now.
I mean, I would love to, if no one else wants, like, I would be very happy to do that.
Okay. All right.
Do we
I'll
know the
try
name
to-
of that school?
Do I know the name?
Has it been
I don't
identified?
even know it's been decided.
Okay.
But maybe it hasn't. I
Don't
just-
be sorry.
It's supposed to open,
It says you.
It's a new elementary school.
27.
New elementary.
Yeah, it is.
yeah, 27, right?
Yeah, they're pretty full.
Yeah.
And we got money from it somehow, magic worked or magic through the school board and everything, and the money came through.
It's interesting. I don't have a name for it yet.
Well, it's coming, like the one in, what is it, Arden? Built that fast.
Yeah, they did build that.
They're supposed to open
They
in
just,
27.
Yeah.
Yes, that would be probably one of the first ones.
Yep.
That's amazing. Good
Yes.
timing.
Yes. That was the thing that sold us. They told us that.
Okay, so now the next topic is board member comments, reports, updates. Kind of a challenge for you new people. I don't know if you've heard anything more, Colleen, from your assigned school or?
No.
No,
Have not.
but I think what we need to do now is really find out what the needs are for those schools and report back on that, because I think once, if and when it's all decided with Roger Dean, we would need to give them the school that they would be sending the money to. And they were pretty clear at the council meeting that that money has to go directly to the school.
Right to the school.
Yeah.
So we have 2 big initiatives here with the stadium and then also with the restaurant night. So that'll be nice in the fall to get those going.
Right, yeah. Maybe big initiatives.
2 big ones gotta get them.
So we should, I imagine it might be helpful to solidify the Roger Dean date so that the other things don't crowd it too much.
But I don't think you can do that until you get information and get approved.
Right. Anything else? Okay, now are there any public comments from people that are present?
Count on me.
Thank goodness, yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Alicia Torres, 5847 Whippoorwill Circle. I have quite a few notes. One is the point Dr. Tompkins was making about the spillover from the schools into our streets, I think is a very interesting point. And one thing I've noticed already is we have these ding dong ditches happening. They started happening even before school was out. And I do see that there is a lack of extracurricular activities for the kids outside of school planned stuff. And so I do see an opening here. I'm thinking talking with the master HOA and just planning, like teen nights. I mean, I don't know if this is for you guys. It might not be at all. But also like just the Crestwood Ladies Group, you guys are flush with a lot of experience, like deep bit of experience. Maybe get people who were entrepreneurs or who went to the moon, something, I don't know, you know, it's just good people have interesting things to talk about. And you have the beautiful Crestwind facility, like community facility, so I don't know if there's an opportunity there.
Well, we tried that and we were shut off
Okay,
about bringing in kind of outside activities. Speakers, yes, but to use space, because,
Speakers for the community.
yeah,
yeah,
maybe the lodge then, maybe the city
the lodge,
could,
yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
put in for the rental or something to that
right,
effect.
right.
But I just like the idea of there being like this internal, intimate system of us like helping the children to stay busy and keep them informed.
We have two questions. Does each community have their own HOA, their own?
Yeah, there's the
Yes, they
master
do.
and then there are the little.
I mean, like,
community
I know it's an HOA, but I mean like a community. I know you don't have a physical center, but is there a community neighborhood group that does activities for kids or anything like that, or is it just? No, it's no.
Well, I think
then
we
each
rely
community-
on Robin at, she's the master HOA lifestyle director.
Well, to add on that, what you said, and what I said is, I think we need to take advantage of what we already have. So you already have an adventure park. And what I was thinking about is like, if you have an intramural basketball teams, for people that when they're out of school, girls basketball, flag football, thing like that structured and get some of these guys as volunteers, coaches and parents and stuff like that. But when you run leagues and things like that, then what's associated with having games is practice.
Yeah,
So that means they gotta go to practice
gotta
first,
get
then
up early.
you got a
yeah.
game. So when you get them involved with things like that, less hanging out at night, being out the gas station, all of that, because hey, we got practice tomorrow, and they're engaged in stuff, volleyball, I don't know, but take advantage of the land that we have and take advantage of the parks and everything that we already have to have these different programs for kids during the summer. As soon as they get out of school, day camps, what can we do? Those kind of
Isn't there a
ideas.
recreation department in Westlake? I know.
Not run by the city.
There's there are camps right now, like I9 has a camp.
What we've learned and talked about at our meetings is that there are a lot of clubs after school, but that those clubs are definitely after school and there's a cost for them.
Right, but I'm talking about during the summer in particular.
Summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are some
Like what's
camps
summer?
and things, yeah.
Like I know there's that volleyball camp happening at Summer Ridge.
Is this under our purview though, that we can do something like that?
Was bringing it up to the council like she was
Yeah,
saying.
I think it's bringing it to the council and also maybe advising the master HOA lifestyle director, Robin, saying, you know, we have this idea, you know, because she throws a lot of events that nobody comes to. So you could also help with an advertisement somehow, or, you know, get it to the city council to advertise.
What kind of things does she market?
She does like the Christmas bingo or, the
Christmas
father,
bingo,
daughter.
what-
I like to think there's a
the
dance,
Christmas
yeah.
bingo.
Exactly what
Oh.
you think. It's just decorated.
And is it to
at
raise
Christmas.
money for the schools?
No,
or-
these are just events for residents.
Oh.
Not all of them are free. Some of them are, some of them are discounted.
So those are
She
kind of
does
more
the
broad
food
based
truck night.
than what we're doing.
Right, but I'm
education.
saying, maybe you could have more formal academic events or ongoing flag football. Or there's like the bocce courts. I don't know. You know, I'm just kind of.
Use what we got.
Yes,
Where are the bocce courts?
just like the adventure park pool.
We have bocce courts in our place and I'm still trying to figure out if anybody's using them.
Yeah, there's a guy that puts them together, he does it one
He
night.
does it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I went once.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, right, like what he's saying, you know, we have this huge field, you know, by the adventure park. You know, you could play cornhole or croquet or flag football, what have you.
Mhm.
But maybe it's just stimulating the community a little bit. you
Yeah, I
know?
think what we need to do is find out what the high school is offering in the summer. You say that when you mentioned that camp, was that something that the high school was offering?
Yeah, well not I9. I9 is separate, but I know there's like a volleyball. Maybe there's a volleyball camp, basically like kids that go there and then anyone who's gonna start in the new school year and they wanted to like, be on the volleyball team or something. They have like a camp to like I guess like teach volleyball.
So Westlake doesn't have organized sports for the kids?
You know,
Just remember, we don't have a facility. We don't have any public facilities that would be available. Everything was geared towards your HOA.
So that I would think that would be something in the plan for the future for.
Again, the city doesn't have any space
They
and
need facilities
and
for it,
facilities
yeah.
for it. And reminder that the park that's coming on board, that's not gonna be a city park. It's gonna be some improvement district front park.
So, right, that is an issue that we don't have any
Yeah.
resource, the city doesn't, and that's where I think you guys will be, impeded a little bit. But what I'm saying is just like be the idea generator and the impetus,
Yeah, I
the
think the
starter.
problem is there a cost for these camps that they go to?
I think that, I don't know about the volleyball, like I said,
But
my kids.
yeah, the Master HOA does have money though. This is how they throw a lot of the events. Is that we do have discretionary money specifically for
Do you have the
the
names,
Master
and do you
HOA.
have the contact
Mhm,
information? Can you send that
Yeah,
to me?
it's Robin with the double N, but I'll send that to you.
So shouldn't that, like the Westlake activities you see online, is that she does that?
Yes, yes, exactly.
So you're
Yeah.
saying, what you're trying to say is,
Which HOA is she?
The Master
Oh,
HOA.
the master HOA.
you're saying some of that master HOA funds that we have to pay gets designated for these activities. Maybe we can like route that through like, oh, can the school have like pay some money? Like even maybe they can give money to the school to like hold a camp. or
Yes,
something.
exactly.
So it's like
yes.
use, so it's not city money, but just be advocates for the kids, the
Yes.
students, and use maybe the schools potentially as like venues.
Not even the schools, if there are parents who want to volunteer or like I-9 getting more outfits like that here. Tennis, I guess we don't have tennis or people, I mean, there are courts, just but anyway, yeah, right, being the lobbyist or the advocate for Westlake students to kind of keep busy, through the resources we have, and that is Master HOA. So what I was saying about Master HOA is that Robin throws a lot of events, and she says so many times people don't come or they don't sign
Does
up.
she know why they don't come or why they don't? How does, when, let's say once you have the event going on, the volleyball, who gives oversight to that? Somebody that volunteers?
Who runs the adventure park? Is that,
That's the Master HOA.
and they don't have a summer camp? That's a great facility.
They do have one.
They have a
But-
summer camp?
It's through I-9.
Oh, is that the one you're talking about?
What's I-9?
I-9 is a sports
Yeah,
league. It's a
yeah, it's a
sports league.
multi-sports league.
Yeah.
So they bring them in to run it?
Yeah,
Yes.
so they have like they'll bring their coaches in and it's like a multi-sport thing. So like there's volleyball and soccer and these kind of things. So it's like a day camp.
Okay.
Um,
So there are some, are they running? Are those things running?
Mhm.
Oh, okay, so there are some things that are running and doing well.
Yeah, the Master HOA hires out people in groups to come in. And so that's all that you would be doing, or finding parents to volunteer.
But this
to do
might be
Anyone who
something
has
too,
knowledge
when
of
you go
something.
to the PTA meetings, to reinforce that and mention that, oh, by the way, did you know that there are these activities that could be done, but we don't have.
the problem with doing that at a
Mm.
PTA meeting is that if you don't live in Westlake, you can't go to them.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we can't use the PTA meeting because there are other kids who go to the school. Like it's not just Westlake students. So like if a student lives in Loxahatchee, they usually cannot go to a Westlake.
Even if they go to the schools?
The
Yes,
Master
The
HOA events.
if the master HOA is involved.
Anyone can go to a city event.
Yeah, like the 4th of July, anybody can go.
Right.
But if
But
there's an adventure, there's something at Adventure Park in the room there or something, the kids have to live with.
yes, the city and Master HOA are different. So Master HOA has to be residents. So, okay.
Any other ways?
Yeah, the other thing is, as far as that letter you were gonna send to the board about having someone come talk about zoning,
Uh-huh.
that and also the restaurant letter or flyer that needed approval by the council. I thought it was just the attorney that wanted to confirm some details about those things. But I feel like Vice Mayor Langowski should be able to get you an update on where that is, because the school is opening in August of 27. So let's just round up down and say that's 2 years. It's not really a 2-year deadline because all of these plans are going to be made far, far in advance before
Right.
the school is actually open. So it's important to get on that.
Yeah, he did, thank you, Greg. Greg sent another note that says, I'd be happy to meet with you and Marcia Andrews to discuss the zoning of the schools. Perhaps we could invite her to the City Hall and Ken and Zoe, maybe Jennifer join in. to talk about zoning of the schools and perhaps an update on the new elementary school.
Yeah, great. And the other thing I was gonna point out about that is that as far as IB goes, is that an elementary school program as well?
IB is K through 12.
Okay,
It is
And-
K through 12, wow.
you know, I know Crystal Lexima, it's close to her heart gifted
Yeah,
programs too.
Yeah.
So maybe, how can we advocate or lobby to get an IB program or gifted programs at our Westlake school?
Yeah.
What do we need to
Talk
show?
about that, yeah.
You know, so that we can kind of be on top of that and get that already like in the ether, you know.
I know
Also
that-
looking at the choice programs that the other elementary schools
Choice
have and making
programs.
sure there's something different here.
Absolutely, yes,
Something
choice, yes.
You know, because like the nice thing about IB is like IB doesn't have to be a choice program. Like schools sometimes run it that way, but all the students can partake in it. It's just the idea of like teaching in a specific way. Like it's just conceptual learning. And so it's very like it would be great for all kids, right? And it doesn't have to just be like, oh, you have to apply to this program. It's not. And it's still like a typical education. It's not like Montessori. So like, for example, they have like one Montessori school in Delray. That could be hard to get like parents on
That's a
board
private
for.
school, isn't it, or is that a public
It's a
school?
public school
It
in
is?
Delray,
Oh,
that's
nice, really?
Montessori
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's like something that like just to like let you know, like that's something that I'm like really passionate about.
Yeah.
Like figuring out
Yeah.
what can we do at our school, not to like set it apart and make it like better, but just make it different so that when parents are looking and thinking like which choice programs I want to apply for, there's a plethora of them. Like we don't need 3 of the same program at all the
Are our
schools.
schools choice? You know,
There is a choice school, I think, because I think one of Crystal's sons
Yeah,
goes there.
there's another like there's choice programs through the middle school and
Yeah,
stuff like
choice
that.
programs are different from IB, and I believe gifted is different from all of those
Yeah.
things too. So those are the 3 things you want to look into. And as far as the choice programs go, I'm not sure if they start at middle school. Maybe it is elementary, but I know there's like a farm veterinary program at one of the schools very close by.
I
Like
know
that
there's
type
an
of thing.
art.
Yeah, this is where I
art
meet
program
Crystal.
in
She
the
knows
other
a
middle
lot
school.
about that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
What was let me see, I have 2 of them, the IB and the choice programs.
And
what was it?
gifted.
Oh, gifted, yeah, okay.
but choice is just if a school is a choice school, kids are allowed to apply to that school. It's not in the district.
And I'm
Yeah.
not sure, I think we're gonna be crowded day one, so I don't know if that's an option or not, but I just like the investment in making our school attractive for many different reasons, you know?
Mhm.
And special education is mandated, federally
Yeah,
mandated,
yeah.
but gifted programs are not.
Yeah,
And that's why we don't save as much.
What did you say about?
Special education is mandated, federally mandated,
Yeah,
but gifted programs are not.
Yeah.
So that's why we don't see them as much.
Okay, the last thing I had real quick is I think that the Roger Dean Stadium should be the Seminole Ridge High School event because the kids can drive and it's gonna be kind of far out there. So you'd be more likely to get, let's get 3 people in the car and drive out there, whatever. And parents, whatnot, but I just think
they should be the
being
lead
far
school
away.
for the money, I think, yeah.
But even if they get the money, which is fine, minor league baseball games are loved by
Little ones.
parents of little kids.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. And so it's like if they're, especially if there's like you're mentioning, maybe there's like a package or something like deal for the ticket, like we can do that. Like
Couple.
because ultimately, if you think about it, if you have a kid in middle school, they're going there most likely. Eventually, your elementary school kid will go there.
And the kids that, when I've been, they all have the same t-shirts on. They know what school they're from. I don't know how that's provided. If the school does it or the parents do it or whatever. I don't know how that's, but I've seen the kids with the same t-shirts on.
Yeah, maybe they do something at Roger Dean for them.
They could.
I'll ask about that, that's a good one.
Yeah, the
To
teachers
get
see the colors on
t-shirts,
together.
yeah. It would be nice to have a lot of kids running around the area.
Oh,
with
yeah.
T-shirts from Roger Dean.
And then from there, I would just suggest you pick the order of the 3 schools, and, so it's Seminole Ridge, Osceola, Golden Grove, Seminole Ridge, Osceola, Golden. It just takes the decision-making out of it.
Yeah.
And it's just gonna be more fair that way. Some people are gonna get a lot of money, some are gonna get less, what have you. So.
Yeah, well, I know from the 5K race, we got that, bit of funding this year, and it's pretty clear that we wanted to rotate it around
Exactly.
to the different schools, yeah.
And I just want to say thank you guys for volunteering. That's the last thing. I really hope that starting out early and, in the city for people looking out for our students will pay off, big in the future.
Yeah, we do too.
Mhm.
That's what we hope. That's what we're working
For the
with, yeah.
students, for the kids.
And thank you for all you've
I
done
know
for
you're
us.
volunteering too.
Yeah, I mean, you've been a real help and we really appreciate that. Thank you.
Glad to help, yes.
Okay. Any other comments? No? Okay, so, if there are no further public comments, I would move that we adjourn the meeting.
Do we have to talk about it next meeting first?
Oh, sure, thank you. I always forget that, don't I?
I'm glad we have alternates. I'm not gonna be here July, August,
Oh, okay.
but I can certainly
Um,
not talk to anybody, but I can go online.
let's see. June, July, when does school start?
August 11th.
August 11th.
I want to get good enough because that's involved here. Shouldn't be coming up.
Oh, yeah. 202, 779, 1707.
1707.
We're recording, so you just put that out there in the public FYI. Yes,
The what?
I'm just letting him know that we're recording, he just put that out there in the public.
Oh, okay.
That was fun.
Well, how about if we meet before school starts for those of us that are around? So that, if there is any of this that we've talked about, we can revisit and refocus for what we want our people, our committee members to do within schools in terms of our agenda items, in terms of hopefully, well, does the city council meet every month through the summer? They do?
Every month, and we also, it's budget season, so we have quite a few additional meetings.
Oh,
that
okay.
we're meeting.
All right, so. Would you be up for a meeting in August?
I'll dial in.
Hmm?
I'll dial in. I'll be up there just like,
Oh, okay, you can listen in. I don't think that counts as a meeting though, does it?
no, but I just want to know what's happening.
Okay, thank you. Let's look at the calendar. Why don't you look at your own calendars and see, looks like Greg's sending me another note. So,
Sorry about the phone.
decide on a date for the next meeting. We got you, thank you. He knows I always forget that. I don't know why, it's so important. Calendar, June, July, I think my great calendar. See holiday. I don't think there's any. So we usually meet on Thursdays. So let's see. School starts on the 11th. And the problem is I'm going to be gone the week of the 28th. What about if we met on the 7th of August?
What day is it?
It's a Thursday.
Okay.
That works.
Is it always at 6
Motion.
o'clock?
Do we need a motion on
Make
that?
a motion.
So August 7th?
Yes. 6 p.m. right? And if for those of you that are new and have like a topic that you're passionate about, maybe you can bring us a list of what areas you think are important and what you'd like to work on to share.
Okay.
Anything else? I make a motion to adjourn the meeting at 7:27 Thursday.
My second one.
Yeah,
We don't need a motion to close it.
we need a
Oh.
You
motion.
don't need a motion, just
Okay.
can
You can just
identify the
adjourn.
time. Mhm.
Go home, and that's it.
Tell me the time.
Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Can we-
Can you what?
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah,
So
there's a
what is
lot
the
more of
number?
them on there from the early meeting.
So you have my.
Yes. Yes,
What's
please.
your next?
Do you